Everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to do Minor Fetch issue number 3 from Dark Horse. These are the people that worked on that. Cover by Kevin McGuire. We dive right in. So, we're coming back to this. But we have sort of a flashback, right? So we see that one of these group members, and that is this woman, I believe her name is Scapel. She has a clinic, for, people that are hurt, super villains, And this basically, I'm not sure if you can call it a horror origin story, but, she's being watched at her father being killed by a villain called Mr. Optics because her father, also run a clinic. Only he was some kind of a doctor that, wants to help people. So Mr. Optic came in and offered this guy a deal, said, hey, how about we gonna sell drugs or prescriptions on the streets? And then her father refused. Therefore, Mr. Optics and his gang killed her father while she's looking. But she says, I love my father, but he was a sucker who got what he deserved. Because in the end, good or bad, you still get what's coming to you. All right, so that's an all different spin that we don't see much in comics, and that's what I like. Also, in the last issue, Frankie here is being shot. She's been, thrown over the balcony. Is that how you say it? From the roof, and she is trying to think of how her save her life, and she's saying, Paratroopers Pete parachute, lines tangled, Gabby grabber climbing claw, hinge rusted, leaping spring shoes, not wearing that, marshmallow mania party cannon. She says, please work, please work, please work. And it did work. So she's been saved. And and then her other, group members comes in and he says, hey, ladder, one less bounty buddy to split the bounty. He says, let's go. But then one of them says, hey, is that how we should do it, right? And because she led us to a death trap and we had 0 leads. And she says, I know where Stickman is. So, okay. So they are looking to Scalper says, hey, save her. I said, what, in an alley? With what? Used chopsticks and fast food wrappers? And so he says, I don't have a clinic here nearby. Meanwhile, they are taking her to her mom, and her mom is not happy that these villains, she's also a villain, by the way, or was a villain, she says basically that they are responsible for what happened to Frankie, and if she's dying, they're gonna die too, right? Anyway, so whenever you see this shot, I like that. There's some visual things in here that I really like. Mainly, this story is a little bit more about Scalpel's origin because I'm not even sure why they have let her have the spotlight. I like it, by the way, but she says here that she has basically trained herself drowning out all the noise so that she can, do her work, right, as a surgeon. And while the other ones are just, bickering. And she sees basically stuff like this. And this, like I said, it's really cool to see with all these words in her abdomen and veins and all that stuff. It's pretty cool. And this is the bullet where Frankie was hit. Then, meanwhile, this other snake copper guy, copper snake guy, and he's cleaning himself, but then Scalpel comes in. She says, well, with little luck, a lot of the PT plates I might survive. Hey, wait, that scar on your neck. You were a stick boy? Did you work for Stickman, you traitor? And then he says, hey, did you betray us? Did you tell where we are? Did you tell the cops and your boss? She says, no, I work for him, but not anymore. Stickman found me when I was all hate. Then I found something beautiful, and hate didn't make much sense no more. So I believe there was the part that, he's gay, his boyfriend is gay, his boyfriend died. So I believe that's what he's talking about, but I could be wrong, but that's the only lead that I have. checking boxes. It's not hitting me over the head with it, so that's fine. I don't mind if people being gay or whatever. This whole modern. They did some stuff in here. Some modern sensibilities, but again, it's not intrusive. It's not being hit. Being in your face all the time that somebody is gay or whatever. Like in the modern Alan Scott comic. Oh man, that's terrible. But I'm not going to talk about that. And overall, I really enjoy this series, and this is a good series. This is a good episode too. So yeah, Frankie makes it. Mother is happy. He said, "Hey, why you do it?" She said, "Why did you bring me along with the job or talk about it? Didn't I teach you about the code?" This isn't about the code. This is about ending this insanity and clearing just enough cash so Maggie and I, a daughter, can vanish. And the only way that happens is when we put Stickman in the dirt. Stickman, growing up, I gave you endless freedom, but I had one rule. You stay away from that demon. So yeah, these two had also something happened in the past, I guess, with Stickman and the mother. But Frankie says, but I know how to get him, and he ain't going to see us coming. Look, rip this off from Stickboy Minion. This tag, the uniform's a custom job by the Fred King. So basically, they're going to look out for the Fred King because, they all have their costume made by the Fred King. Therefore, he must, have clients. Clients have, maybe a records, right? He has records of his clients. Therefore, maybe he knows where Stickman is, right? And but there's also a little bit distrust because he says, "Hey, I know where to go. Trust me." And Scalpel looks at him very suspiciously. But she didn't tell him, the others, that he was once a minion. So I wonder what that means. So going back in time a little bit, so when Scalpel was 28 years old, she went to college, right, and to med school, but she had a flaw. She had taste for the fine arts, so I believe she was caught stealing, but I'm not entirely sure. She was expelled and her license was revoked. And then, I don't know. So this, I don't know, this some kind of a burglar caught Alley Cat, and she's, sticking it with a meat fermenter. But where some people see carnage and violence, I see opportunity. Spread the word that I'm currently taking new patients. That's actually smart, right? Instead of, killing them, saying, "Hey, why don't you tell everybody that I can fix, burglars, criminals, killers, for a fee?" So she sets up a shop, and the word is getting spread, and she is, I don't know, now getting a well-known, she has a good running clinic. So anyway, the other ones goes to find Fredman or Fred King, right? And they are ransacking the place and, interrogating this guy. So he's up there doing stuff. Frankie goes in and he says, "Hey, Fredman, we want to know where Stickman is. You're going to dig deep into that filing cabinet and you're giving us the location. And if he's going to resist, he's going to get it, right?" Art is great, by the way. Love the colors too. And there's a lot of detail on screen here. So there's a lot of things that I like here. So Fred King says, "Ha ha ha! Is this a joke? Did you think I forgot who each of you are? You're nothing. Petty thieves, fall guys. Half of you clowns are still paying off these costumes on the layaway." So he says, "I'm not going to spill anyone." But then it's the Searchers. So the Searchers, I believe, a Superman-esque female superhero. Very muscled with a very tiny head on it. I mean, that looks like it. Has also, a very short haircut. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so she probably figures it out that, Fred King also knows the detail to Stickman. Or maybe she's probably followed this group. Anyway, so they are escaping, taking Fred King with them. And she says, "Hey, hurry, she's circling back. I know a way out, but you're not going to like it." All right? And then we go to here. So it seems as this whole city is full of anomalies and weird stuff, like this creature here where the skeleton, I don't know, this creature died and the people just build a city around the skeleton because the superheroes were too lazy to remove these remains. Anyway, and it seems that once upon a time, some kind of a soup took on a time conqueror called Chronolus, and then something bad happened. And now this whole time has been, I don't know, warped in time, and we see this, pyramids, castles, all this time stuff, and all these people are just figuring out what's going on. So they're going in, and suddenly they speak Sumerian, which is hilarious. So I love this time bubble and this warping, right? But the what's her name? The Searcher, coming after them, right? But then she's also getting warped, right? And then we have this very cool looking, also somewhat hilarious couple of pages where the Searcher is trying to get the minor threats, right? While they are trying to get away, we see them being chased by a mob where she's been reversed here in this dimension. Also, she's been turned into some kind of giant robot. Very small minion flying pterodactyls, or as a godlike entity ripping fabric of time apart, or like a zombie. They're also melting. And they're also in comic pages. Like I said, it's pretty cool. Also, Frankie seeing herself when Mother is, crying on her tombstone. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. But this is like a visual treat for me, right? So, with all, I mean, going back to this guy, I'm not mentioning him because he's a piece of shit, in my opinion. And I still believe he has very minor to do with creating this comic, although he is on front of it and on top. It's just a name recognition thing. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe he has almost nothing to do with this whole comic. Maybe he has some input, but I think it's very minor. So yeah, but I give credit where credit is due to the other creators. They're doing a really good job of entertaining me, and I'm having fun. And yeah. So moving on, Searcher comes out of the time bubble, but time's starting to slow down. So she's stuck, and she says, the Insomniac is a good man, but he's on a bad path, and he won't stop until, damn it, I'm trying to save you all. Well, no one asked you. So they are interrogating this Fred King, and they are in this bite burger restaurant and into, I don't know, the man's bathroom or something. And he says, hey, says the Fred King, don't you think I'm being worked over? I know the rules. Yeah, sure, but I'm not some hired muscle. I'm a professional like you. So she says, and as a professional like yourself, I know what we value. The respect, the pride, the satisfaction that comes with working with our hands. So if someone sliced every one of your flexor tendons into limb-broken noodles, well, I wouldn't just talk, I would scream while these eating their burgers and their french fries and hearing all the scream. So yeah, he's gonna spill the beans, right? But then also another flashback when she got another visitor in the clinic, and oh no, it's Mr. Optics, the guy that killed her dad. She says, my father never understood this, ran his clinic with his heart instead of his head, and made it personal. Scalpel skip tips. Medicine is just a business where an emotional detachment is pivotal to the physician's success. So yeah, she lets him live, and that's also a smart move. Why? Because if she is killing him, the word on the streets that she is not a good surgeon, therefore she doesn't get clients anymore, right? Her reputation could be ruined. Very smart, right? So she's washing her hand. Frankie comes in and she says, hey, I'm sorry. I said, I do what's necessary to protect my interest. Well, it paid off. The intel checks out. So they find out the Stickman is. And they are going to that place to get him, right? And she says, we're going to take the drop of him, dead or alive. Frankie says, I've been shot, thrown off a building, and pretty sure I stepped in some dinosaur shit. So let's finish this. And then we see all these weaknesses of these characters like ego, fear, mortality, because he's an old man, love, because he lost his boyfriend, right? So they go into this lair, but oh no, it's all a trap because the printer's working and we see Stickman, here and the lights comes on. Took longer than expected, but with this group I should have managed my expectations. So he knew it was coming. Why? Because there's a traitor in this group. Yes, but who is the traitor? We don't know, right? But then he says something about Mr. Marvin. I don't know who Marvin was, but he's dead, right? But Marvin had a very important task. And he says to the group, but you guppies were so eager to swim with the big fish, so I'm giving the job to you. And that leads us to the next issue that I have. We're going to review this soon. I love also this with the skeletons here. So pretty cool. Yeah, so I like this comic a lot. And so we have one issue to go. I hope it pays off. And if it pays off, I wouldn't mind to get another volume of Minor Threats because so far I enjoyed it very much. So guys, let me know what you think about it. Yeah, leave a like, leave a comment and all that YouTube jazz. See you next time and bye-bye.